Have you ever felt a heavy, sinking wave of exhaustion while sitting in a room full of people who are desperately trying to sound smart? You watch them flex their credentials, aggressively debate topics they barely understand, and fight tooth and nail just to have the last word. And sitting there, quietly observing the chaos, you can't help but wonder, is this really what brilliance looks like? Let me be brutally honest with you. You have been sold a massive lie. From the time you were a kid, society wired you to believe that intelligence is an accumulation game. You were taught that the smartest person is the one with the most impressive degree, the highest IQ score, or the absolute fastest answer to a problem. And because of that lie, you carry a crushing, invisible weight every single day. You scramble to read every headline. You panic when you don't have a quick response, and you live with the quiet terror of ever looking uninformed. But what if everything you thought made you smart is actually holding you back? When cognitive psychologists study truly brilliant individuals, the quiet outliers and the real innovators, a breathtaking truth emerges. Real, transformative intelligence is rarely about what a person actively does. It is almost entirely about what they absolutely refuse to do. True genius is not about adding more noise to an already crowded brain. It is about radical subtraction. Highly intelligent people have developed a strict set of psychological firewalls. They naturally filter out the mental junk food that the other 99% of the population binges on every single day. Today, we are going to completely shatter the illusion of intelligence. We are breaking down 5 incredibly common behaviors that society has totally normalized. These are things your friends, your coworkers, and probably even you do without a second thought, but that truly intelligent minds avoid like the plague. I need you to pay very close attention to the 5th habit on this list. I can almost guarantee you are doing it daily, completely unaware of how deeply it is draining your potential and keeping you stuck. So, take a breath. Drop the heavy armor of needing to prove yourself. Let's dive into the 5 things highly intelligent people never do. Number 1, they absolutely refuse to fake it. Think back to a moment when someone asked you a direct question, maybe in a high-stakes meeting or surrounded by peers at a dinner party, and your mind just went blank. You didn't know the answer. Did your chest tighten? Did you feel that sudden, uncomfortable spike of adrenaline? For most of us, the immediate instinct is survival. You panic, you scramble, you stitch together a few vague buzzwords, or you totally deflect the question, desperately, hoping to sound just competent enough to get by. Why do you do this? Because society has deeply conditioned you to believe that admitting ignorance is a fatal flaw. You have been taught that if you don't have the answer, you lose your value. But brilliant minds operate on a completely different frequency. They have absolutely zero problem looking you dead in the eye and saying, I don't know. I actually have no idea how that works. They don't say this because they lack confidence. They say it because their confidence is practically bulletproof. They do not tie their self-worth to appearing omniscient. To a truly intelligent person, faking knowledge is the ultimate form of self-sabotage. It is building a house on sand. They treat the words I don't know not as a wall, but as an open door. They prioritize the cold, hard truth over the fragile ego of the moment. Number 2, they never bleed their energy into pointless battles. Picture this scenario. You are scrolling through your phone late at night, and you see a wildly inaccurate comment online. Or maybe you are sitting across from someone who is confident, aptly spouting nonsense about a topic you deeply care about. Your heart rate spikes. You feel that overwhelming, burning urge to jump into the ring, dismantle their flawed logic, and prove them wrong. You want to win. You need them to see the truth. But what usually happens? You end up exhausted, frustrated, and holding on to toxic energy for the rest of the day. When you see someone who has to argue every minor detail, who turns every casual conversation into an intellectual deathmatch, you are not witnessing intelligence. You are witnessing deep, unhealed insecurity. Highly intelligent people view their mental energy as their most precious currency, and they flat out refuse to spend it on bad investments. They know instantly when a conversation is a genuine exchange of ideas, and when it is just a desperate ego flex. They will gladly walk away from a debate, letting the other person believe they won, because they know that trying to force open a closed mind is like trying to empty the ocean with a spoon. And in today's hyper-connected world, this boundary is more vital than ever. We live in an era where people watch a single 10-minute video essay and suddenly feel fully equipped to debate experts. Intelligent people recognize the massive chasm between merely being exposed to information and actually mastering it. They respect the agonizingly slow, humbling process of real learning. Because of this, they are entirely at peace with letting other people be wrong. They choose their peace over the hollow victory of being right. Number 3, they refuse to let a temporary emotion dictate a permanent reality. We have all been there. You get a wildly unfair, passive-aggressive email from your boss, or maybe a loved one says something that cuts you straight to the bone. Your blood pressure skyrockets. The anger is a physical heat in your chest, and your thumbs are hovering over your keyboard, ready to unleash a response that will burn the bridge to the ground. Most people hit send. They let the temporary storm of their emotions make permanent, life-altering choices. Highly intelligent people are not cold, unfeeling robots. They feel grief, rage, and joy just as intensely as you do. But they have developed a psychological superpower. They build a fortress between the feeling and the action. They allow themselves to feel the emotion completely, but they force that emotion to pass through the filter of logic before it becomes a decision. They pause and ask themselves, will I still feel this way in a week? What about in 6 months? They know that acting at the peak of an emotional spike almost always guarantees a valley of regret. Number 4, they actively destroy their own echo chambers. Human nature craves comfort. You naturally want to surround yourself with people who vote like you, think like you, and constantly validate your worldview. It feels safe, it feels warm. But here is the brutal truth. If you only sit in rooms where everyone aggressively nods in agreement with everything you say, your mind is slowly decaying. Truly intelligent people run toward friction. They actively seek out friends, mentors, and colleagues who will respectfully look them in the eye and say, I completely disagree with you, and here is why. They are not threatened by someone poking holes in their logic. In fact, they are energized by it. They view a bruised ego as the necessary entry fee for a sharper mind. They know that you cannot upgrade your software if you are terrified of finding the bugs. Number 5, they never wear exhaustion as a badge of honor. And now, we arrive at the final point, the trap I warned you about at the very beginning. Look around you. We live in a culture deeply, tragically addicted to the hustle. You probably do it yourself. You casually complain to your friends about how little sleep you got, how packed your calendar is, and how you barely have time to breathe. You treat your exhaustion like a VIP pass to success. You are sprinting on a treadmill, sweating, gasping for air, moving your legs as fast as humanly possible, but you are not actually going anywhere. You are confusing motion with progress. Highly intelligent people see right through the cult of business. They understand that grinding for 80 hours a week on the wrong mountain is a tragedy, not a triumph. They are ruthlessly protective of their time and energy. They say no to almost everything so they can say an absolute, hyper-focused yes to the 1 or 2 things that actually move the needle. They don't obsess over efficiency, getting useless tasks done faster. They obsess over effectiveness, making sure the task actually matters in the first place. This means they often have more free time than you. They rest without an ounce of guilt, because they know that silence, white space, and recovery are not luxuries. They are the exact ingredients required for elite, high-level thinking. When you pull back and look at these 5 boundaries, a profound realization hits you. True intelligence is incredibly quiet. It doesn't need to scream for attention. It is the steady, daily discipline of subtracting the noise. So, I want to leave you with a question to sit with today. Look honestly at your own life. Which of these 5 psychological traps are you still falling into? Are you faking knowledge, bleeding energy on pointless arguments, reacting in the heat of the moment, hiding in an echo chamber, or running yourself into the ground just to look busy? What would happen to your life starting tomorrow if you just stop? If this hit a nerve for you, don't keep it to yourself. Send this to that one person in your life who desperately needs to hear it, and leave a comment below telling me which of the 5 shook you the most. Because admitting where we are stuck is exactly how we all get a little bit smarter.